So hello there and welcome back to the channel. This is Mel's Gaming here with another The Hunter Call of the Wild video. Now this video was recorded during the early access for Emerald Coast, so a huge thank you to EW for allowing me to take part in this early access. Now in this video we're going to be taking a look at the saltwater crocodiles, the Banteng and the Magpie Geese. Now as you can see we are starting off with the saltwater crocodiles, and this was my first encounter with them. So I saw that female and I was trying to see if I could get her to go aggressive, when as I was just going towards her I heard something beside me, and as you'll see we have an aggressive level 6 male. These guys are not small and they are pretty quick when they are aggressive. Now I got really lucky here and managed to make an instant kill shot there with the 300. And yeah, brought him down instantly with a double lung heart shot. Now it's really cool that these guys are a class 7, so you can use the 300 on them. That is really fantastic. And I was already captivated by how cool these guys were just off of that first encounter. I was completely not expecting it. I was just thinking that maybe I could get the female to go aggressive, and then boom, I had this aggressive male right beside me. It was almost a bit of a jump scare, but it was just really cool. And yeah, that was my first encounter with the saltwater crocodiles. That was a really awesome experience. But this is a rough map of where I have actually encountered the saltwater crocodiles on the map, mainly along the coast and where you see mangroves. That's where you're going to encounter the saltwater crocodiles, and they are a whole lot of fun. As you can see in this clip, we have not one but two aggressive saltwater crocs, including a mythical. And you can see there the max weight up to 1,100 kgs. These are not small animals. They are so awesome. And like I said, when they're aggressive, they are quite quick. And you're going to have to be quite, precise with your shots to make sure you actually get a vital hit if something like a rare or a diamond goes aggressive on you. But these guys are ultra aggressive. Running along this coast, I found so many that were just trying to kill me. It was absolutely incredible. So we have a nice mythical here, pretty good size gold at 925.23, when diamond is 1015. So they get pretty big to be a diamond. Obviously you're going to be looking for 9 legendary, but all I managed to find were mythicals on my map. I never found a legendary. But I think actually grinding these guys is going to be pretty easy if you want to go for specific trophies, just because they are so aggressive. And something that I thought I realised when I actually shoot this mythical here is I'm just going to go for a lung shot, and you'll see that it does actually go to run into the water. I did take a secondary shot there, but even though it went into the water quite a way, it immediately resurfaced. And I was starting to think, okay, does that mean that they can't sink? And from what I have seen, and also what Beard mentioned on stream, I do not believe that these sink, and I think the same probably goes now for the alligators. I think if you make a vital hit that, will kill them, that they will actually float back up, which I think is a change that a lot of people are going to be really excited to see. I actually ended up making flesh hits on a couple of these crocodiles, and even then, they ended up floating back to the surface after not very long. So I'm really convinced that they can't actually sink now, and I think that that's a really positive change. Now, moving on to a species that I was so excited to finally encounter out here on Emerald Coast, we have the Banteng. And I ended up having this herd come running right past me as I was actually out here to look for crocodiles in the mangroves nearby. And these guys just came running up past me, and you can see there was a few bulls, a small level 2 and a couple of decent level 3s, and obviously some cows in there as well. But I decided to take one of the level 3 bulls, and you can see he has just gone down. These guys look absolutely incredible. They are really awesome beasts. I think they are absolutely awesome. I was so excited to actually finally get to see the Banteng for myself, and the models are just incredible. All of the little details, especially in the muscles and around the neck, it just looks absolutely fantastic. So like I said, this guy was a level 3 and he is just a gold, which is what you'd expect. These do go to level 5 as max, which I think a lot of people will have guessed after seeing the little feature on Banteng. They do max at level 5. And you can see he's a decent score in gold at 110.83, but for diamond you're looking for 137. So they get quite a bit bigger than this guy to actually be a diamond. And I was really excited to see just how big these guys were actually going to get, because that just looks amazing. Definitely one of my favourites of the new species. I just love Banteng. I think that they're awesome in the Hunter Classic, and I've never had really good luck with them in the Hunter Classic, but I think they're a really cool species. And seeing them here in Call of the Wild with these beautiful models, I was so excited. Now, once again, we have a little map just showing the areas where I have encountered Banteng. They may go slightly outside of these areas. This is just a rough map of where I actually saw them during the early access. So hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea of where to go and start looking for them when this map actually releases. Now, as you can see here, I was running along in the area next to the mangroves looking for Banteng and crocodiles, and a flock of magpie geese went overhead, with one particularly interesting looking bird amongst them. Now, bear that in mind, because we're going to take a look at that bird later on in the hunt, but I wanted to include the first clip of me actually spotting it, because it was as I was actually in this area looking for Banteng and crocodiles. And you can see I had some crocodiles there along the very coast, actually on the beach, and then looking to my other side had some Banteng resting up there in the trees, which was just really, really cool to actually see. I love this coastline. It might be my favourite spot on the entire map, just running along this coast, because you've got the crocodiles, which are obviously an incredible species. I need some diamonds and rares of these for my lodge. And then you have the Banteng, and then you have the geese flying overhead every now and again, so it's pretty cool. Now, once again, I went for a long shot here, and I just decided to just take one shot. And again, you can see that guy has gone quite far out into the water, and I thought that there was possibly one going to be coming aggressive there. But if you watch, he pops back up. Now, again, I just feel like if they could actually submerge and disappear like the alligators used to be able to, that probably would have been enough time for this guy to get away. But a long shot brought him down nice and quickly. And like I said, being able to use the 300 against these guys is absolutely fantastic. It does an absolute number on them, and you're going to be able to take them down really nice and quickly with the 300. Now, actually going up to the group of Banteng that I spotted lying up here in the trees, and once again we have some cows and a decent level 3 bull. So we are actually going to take this gorgeous looking Banteng bull, and he stands there and gives us a warning call. Just majestic looking. And once again, the 300 doing a fantastic job and bringing this guy down super quickly. Again, the 300 for the Banteng is a fantastic weapon. So if you're running this coastline in search of Banteng and crocodiles, bring the 300 with you. It is an absolutely ideal weapon for both species. Now, once again, just taking a look at the detail on the Banteng models here. Really, really stunning. And once again, we have a gold, this time a much bigger gold at 123.44. So still obviously not getting close to diamond being only a level 3, but that's a really good size bull, and like I said, they just look so fantastic. The muscles in their neck and shoulders, I think, looks absolutely incredible, and seeing it captured on a model like this is really awesome. I definitely think these are going to be a favourite for a lot of people. And the face detail as well, I think, is really well done. The ears, the eyes, the nostrils, everything about how they look. I think that the devs have done a really, really fantastic job with the Banteng. Now, this was a pretty cool encounter, still running down the coastline, once again looking for crocodiles, and I spotted movement in the water here, and you can see we have an aggressive female, but we also have an aggressive male, and this is what I mean. These guys are really aggressive. Now, I know we got to see it a little bit on the latest EW stream, but I don't feel that it really captured just how aggressive these guys actually are. It is not uncommon to have more than one going aggressive at a time, and they do a decent bit of damage, and like I said, if you're trying to make a perfect shot, it may be worth bringing some medkits with you, just to make sure that you don't get knocked down while you're actually trying to take a perfect shot. Now you can see there the male is already floating back to us, and I decided to take a bit of a risky shot on this female as she was fleeing. And as you'll see, she does start to go down, so I knew I must have got through to something. But again, the amount of time she was actually out there, I figured she probably was going to actually submerge and sink and get away. But if you just pay attention there, you may have just seen her pop up on the very edge of the screen as we picked up this male. Double lung brought him down super quickly, and like I said, if you can get really up close and make a shot like this, they're really not going to go very far before they actually go down. They are really, really awesome, and just being able to bring them down so quickly with the 300, it makes such a nice change from, you know, hunting the alligators over on Mississippi, that I think it's a really good choice that these are class 7. And you can see it actually did manage to get this female in the thoracic vertebrae and the left lung while she was swimming away. And I think that this means that it's going to be more actually feasible to take shots while these guys are potentially fleeing and trying to swim away, seeing as from what I can tell they don't seem to sink. So I think that this is a pretty cool thing to actually see, and you know, maybe it would be more worth trying to make shots like that. So I'm really happy to actually see that. Now this was a pretty cool encounter. You can see that this level 5 actually sort of swam round to me aggressive, and then you can see him really speeding up to actually come and chase me up here on the beach. And this was just a really cool look at some of the aggressive behaviour from a croc. You can see the snapping animation and the way that they'll open that mouth and sort of posture at you. So you can see that there would be plenty of opportunities to get a good shot if this was a trophy crocodile. So that was a really cool experience, basically, to get a good look at the aggressive behaviour. Now once again, moving back to the Banteng, and I noticed that we have a little bit of a different looking level 3 up here. And once again, this is just barely off of that coastline. I saw these guys going past and I noticed this slightly different looking bull, so just decided I would try and get a shot at him there with the 300, and he doesn't go very far at all before he actually goes down. And taking a look at him on the ground, you can see he definitely looks different to the black fur type that we have been actually seeing on the previous bulls, and that is because this is a dark brown fur type. This was the first different fur type I encountered. Most of the Banteng bulls I saw were actually the black fur type, but this was the first different one I saw, and I think it looks really beautiful. Sort of those brownish tones going into sort of black and dark brown on the back, really beautiful. And then we have another different looking Banteng here. This one again, I saw it and it looked slightly different. Again, still moving down that coastline. And you can see that the rest of the herd goes fleeing here. We have some more cows and another bull. And yeah, it's just cool. They are in quite large groups, and you can see there, you'd be able to take multiple shots and bring down quite a few of them if you wanted to. But this is once again a different fur type. This time it is a brown, and you can see this is lighter than the dark brown. It doesn't have so much of that dark coloration across the shoulders and back. And I think this is really pretty. I actually like the brown fur type. Something about it is just really gorgeous to me. I like the black fur type as well, but I think the black and the brown are probably my favourites. Just really pretty looking. I like it. It's almost sort of an orange-ish colour in places. Really stunning. And most of the females you see are that sort of orange colour anyway, so seeing more of that kind of colour on a bull, really awesome. But I ended up finding this guy, and this was a huge surprise. I came back to this area to hunt a specific level 4 max weight estimate Banteng bull that I spotted while trying to hunt magpie geese. And I came into this spot, literally the last place I'd seen that level 4, and this was waiting out here for me. A level 5 Banteng. I was so excited to actually see this. I really wanted to see a max level Banteng, and he looks huge. He looks absolutely incredible. Those horns are amazing. Just wow. I couldn't believe what I was looking at. The Banteng are definitely one of my favourites of the new species, and I really wanted to see a max level one, so I was super excited. And not only is he a max level, he is one of the few max level animals for me on early access that actually made diamond. 139.92. My first diamond of any of the new species here on Emerald Coast is the Banteng, and he is absolutely awesome looking. I need several diamonds of these for my trophy lodge, hopefully with some different furs, and they just are incredible looking. So he's a little bit above diamond because diamond is 137 and he is 139.92. But I imagine they can get even bigger than this still. That's not a whole lot over diamond, so I'm wondering if they have an even bigger horn size than this. But even if they don't, this is so seriously impressive. I mean, I knew straight away when I saw him that he was a big bull. Absolutely fantastic animal. I really am so lucky and grateful that the first diamond I end up shooting in early access on this new map, my first diamond of any of the new species, is the absolutely incredible Banteng. And of course, I couldn't make this video without including a clip from EW's latest livestream in which we got to take a look at an albino Banteng bull. And oh my gosh, I need one of these for my trophy lodge. And I hope that there are even more rares than just albino. I'm hoping that there's maybe melanistic, maybe some kind of piebald. I'm really keen to see what people actually end up finding. Really, really awesome looking animals. I'm super excited to try and get some diamonds and rares of them. But now finally moving on to the Magpie Geese, and I did actually set up some decoys here, and we do have a little flock of them landing here in the water, and this gave me a pretty good opportunity to take a look at some of the models up close, and only managed to get one there with the 22, but we'll have a look at several in this video. Now these are the areas where I have spotted the Magpie Geese. Not very many places I've actually seen them. They may go slightly outside of these areas, but these were the only locations I encountered them during the early access. But we are actually up here at the very top of the coastline where the mangroves are, and there's a little bit of an open sort of bay area, and this was the best spot that I found for hunting the Magpie Geese. And I love their little swimming animation. Their little feet working so hard under the water, I think just looks really quite cute, and it's just a cool looking animation. Very, very sweet looking. But these birds are really, really beautiful. And we have a max weight estimate level 4 there. 2 to 3 kgs, I do believe, is their max weight estimate. And obviously, with these being a goose species, we are going to be looking at level 5 for diamond, and possibly the occasional max weight estimate level 4. Now, I am just going to shoot just down a few individuals. We're not going to be going for huge numbers here, but I wanted to be able to show off their different colour varieties. So this is a maroon, this level 4 here, a really good size level 4 at 3.61, but I was very interested to see that the colour is called maroon, and what I noticed after collecting a couple of these is that the colour, or what it says plumage type, is not actually named after the feather coloration at all. It's actually named after the colour of the face. So you can see in front of the eyes and going along the beak there's sort of this pinkish reddish colour, and that is what it's actually taking the name from, and that will become more obvious as we take a look at a couple of the other geese that we actually brought down. But looking at the model in general, they look absolutely fantastic. Such a unique looking bird to have in game. Super, super happy that these are actually in game now. They are really, really awesome looking. Very, very beautiful. Here we have just another maroon. This was one of the other ones that we took down. Again, very beautiful looking, absolutely stunning feather detail on all of them. Really gorgeous. And actually, I noticed here that we had a couple more geese coming in overhead, and you'll see they actually come and land pretty close to us, just here. And that was actually pretty cool, again, to see them coming close. The reason I had the 22 rather than the shotgun is normally I prefer to actually hunt with the 22 for the bird species, and seeing as I didn't know where they were going to land, it gave me the ability to be able to make some of those longer shots if actually needed. Now, managed to just bring down an extra one here. None of the other shots actually registered, unfortunately. But this time we have a different colour variety. This time we have the orange. Now, hopefully, with this second bird, it becomes a lot more obvious what I was saying. You can see that the face, instead of being that reddish colour, is actually now orange. And that is what I noticed, is that that is what the name is actually based off of. So it's interesting. It is, the plumage type is technically orange, but it is pulling the name actually based off of the face colour on these birds. And they do have a couple of different varieties, so it's actually interesting to see. Here we have another orange. And once again, you can see the very orange looking face there. Really, really pretty. I do like the orange. It's more of a classic looking magpie goose to me. So I really like this particular colour variety. And then moving over to this next one, and this one is different once again. This time we have a yellow, and once again, hopefully you can see what I mean. That bit on the face there, the skin on the face, is actually yellow, so again you can see the name is actually coming from that. And yeah, it's cool that they have a few different varieties. It's going to make getting diamonds more interesting for sure. I'm definitely going to be keen to actually see some diamonds for these guys. I think they're going to be pretty awesome. But remember that particular magpie goose we spotted earlier in the video? Well, I put out some decoys and actually was trying to bring them in. And this clip actually took place before I hunted those other magpie geese. This was literally the first time I was trying to hunt magpies. And you can see there's a decent level 4 in there as well. Only up to 2 kg though, so not max weight estimate. But I was looking at this goose and I was like, that has to be melanistic. But I was also noticing that he went from alert to alarmed and then to defensive. And this is something that you will encounter when hunting magpie geese, is that the crocodiles do actually spook them, so sometimes you will have flocks going defensive. However, managed to actually get this guy out of the air, so that was really, really fortunate. I was very lucky to actually make that shot. But no doubt in my mind, walking up to this incredible looking bird, that I had just got one of the probably coolest trophies out here that you can get on this map. A melanistic magpie goose. There's no doubt in my mind that that's a melanistic. And you can see almost some purple colour there in the feathers, which looks really pretty. Absolutely stunning. And not only is it a melanistic, it is a gold scoring male. Wow, I wish we got to keep trophies from this early access, because this was the very first actual trophy that I shot on this map, and it's one of my dream trophies. Like I said, I think it's one of the really cool ones you can get on this map is a melanistic magpie goose. There's going to be so many really cool trophies to get on this map. We've seen several awesome looking rares. The diamonds look amazing for all the new species. So actually getting this, I couldn't believe it. I am so incredibly lucky, and I'm definitely going to be hunting for one of these in the live game. And I really hope, seeing as that there's melanistic, I really hope that there's albino. There are albinos for them in the Hunter Classic, and seeing as they have the melanistic, which is also in the Hunter Classic, I'm really hoping that we get to see some albinos as well, and maybe even some other rares for these guys. But wow, the melanistic looks so awesome. I honestly can't believe I managed to find one of these. Literally one of the very first magpie geese flocks I saw. I can't have seen more than 1 or 2 at that point, and it was all in the same area, and then that flock comes over and I see him, and I just knew it had to be, you know, maybe a rare. I was hoping that it was going to be a melanistic. I couldn't tell exactly what it was, but it looked incredibly dark to me. And then it is actually a melanistic. I honestly can't believe that. Definitely one of the coolest things I have managed to get in this early access. And yeah, like I said, I'm going to need one of these in the live game. They look absolutely amazing. And I can imagine they're probably quite rare. So I'm going to definitely be hunting pretty hard to try and get some rares for these guys. But that is going to be it for this video, so thank you so much for watching. Really hope that it's given some more information on these species and has been a good look at them. And yeah, I just can't wait for this map to release to the live game. I'm so excited to actually go after some of these animals actually in the live game and hopefully get some trophies for them for my trophy lodge. And I cannot wait to see what the rest of the community ends up finding. It's going to be so fantastic. But that is going to be it for this one, so thank you so much for watching and for all your support as always, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.